But I had a question for you. When did you first learn about adrenochrome? And have you been able? That may not be something that you bring up on your show, but you're the only person I know that still. I mean, Mark's crossed all kinds of boundaries with what he's doing, but what was that like for you? I mean, I think it brought all four of us to our knees from the previous conversations we've had. But what has that been like for you? And is that something you can talk about? Do talk about? It's a lot for people to take, but I don't know who else to ask other than you about this.
I must tell you, you've stumped me, and I speak 7 languages. What I don't know what adrenochrome is. Help me.
Wow.
Wow.
We're about to ruin your night, Ken.
Yes.
Wow.
Hey, I'm on with Mark. Go ahead.
What they, as the president has said many times, it's all about the children. Yeah. And the trafficking of children, the abuse of children, the sale of children, et cetera, et cetera. One of the things that has come to light through this whole movement that we've been through, this whole war that we've been going through, is the use of what is called adrenochrome. When you frighten a child or abuse a child to the point that they are hysterical and are crying, to the point that they get what they call, you know what panda eyes are?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, to the point where they get that. The amount of adrenaline that gets released into their system is so overpowering that the black hats, the cabal, whatever you want to refer to them as, have looked at this as the fountain of youth, the potion to give you eternal youth. And they have raised kids in underground tunnels and traffic kids, et cetera, to drain the adrenochrome from their system, produce it, drain it, produce it, drain it, and sell it on the open market to a lot of people in Hollywood and other places. So adrenochrome is, I wouldn't call it a drug, it's a naturally occurring substance, but it can only be produced by children because of their age and because of their active systems. Have I missed anything, guys?
I mean, it's probably a good place to start. It's so dark and deep. I mean, once Scott and I learned what that is, that's why we started our show. I can't live in that world. And when these kids go missing, a lot of them, it's not just the rape and the torture that's going on, but that's why they're not around anymore. And I think that's why many of these depraved people go after the children, because there's a lot more to it. So yeah, that's likely a whole other show. And once Ken gets caught up on what that is, then I think we could go deeper into that. But yeah, just to bring you awareness. So I think that's a lot of our whys that are in this movement, is that's what's going on with kids. And pardon my French, but there's no fucking way I'm living in that world. Yeah. So you
just made me ill. And I'm not hurling an insult when I say that, but hearing that just made me ill. And yeah. I have heard of and I've seen documentaries in the past about people who get blood transfusions, etc., sort of vampiristically from younger people to maintain or have whatever genetic makeup there is in there to maintain youth. I've read about that before. I've never heard the term, never heard the word, and didn't realize it was a specific thing that was being extracted. But the idea, it now makes sense. Why else would you allow open borders? Why else would you allow a limitless stream of humanity that you wouldn't keep track of come in? And why would you have kids with no adults have a note with an address, and hundreds of them would be going to the same address, and nobody thought that was strange, and right. Nobody questioned it. And if you tried to question it, you were the weirdo. You were the bad guy. So yes, I will be doing a lot of research about that now. Never delved into it to the extent as I'm now thinking out loud with you, how disgusting and how vile. So these kids basically are human factories for this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Aside
Yeah. It
from
brings you to you're never the same when you hear about it. I mean, I'm not the same person anymore once I realized that what's going on in our world is worse than any horror film that's ever been made. So,
and the closest they've come to it in Hollywood is Death Becomes Her, with the little secret potion. But
They talk about it in other movies as well. I remember there's somebody mentioned in the comments Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. They mentioned it directly. Mark Zuckerberg tweeted about it back in the day. But this is an ancient satanic practice. This is nothing new. That's the other thing.
What is Dracula? It's Dracula. It's about sucking the youth and the vitality out of a younger, beautiful human being and bringing it into yourself so you can live forever.
This is raw evil Satanism that we're dealing with. And Joe is exactly right. This is the reason that most of us were prompted, because in reality, most of us, we weren't news guys. We didn't really have any. We all had other pursuits that we were involved with in our lives. But this is the type of thing. That's why I said when you asked that question, I was like, oh boy, this is about to. This is going to be a moment you're not going to forget, because the first time you hear about this stuff. And by the way, as awful as that is they do worse than that. And when I'm not going to get into it because I don't want to totally disgust you, but it's a lot worse even than that. It's hard to imagine something worse, but we're talking about a level of evil that the normal mind can barely even comprehend.
Right.
And the truth is out there. So yeah, do your research. Google Adreno and Google Chrome. I mean, it just goes on and on. I've done entire shows talking about Adrenochrome in the past. It's been a long time since I've gotten into it because it's hard for me to talk about, quite frankly. Mm-hmm. But this is the reality. This is the reality that we're dealing with. So yeah.
Well, I was just going to say real quickly, I reached out to 3 of my friends that wrote for the Tribune in town. One was in his 40s, one in his 50s, and one in his 60s. All vaccinated. One of them was very, very against folks like Scott and I. We knew him pretty well. And they've all since passed and they're all jabbed up. And so I basically felt like, especially in the Northwest, Scott and I have to talk about it. I really don't know many other people that talk about it, but it has to be talked about, or otherwise it's just going to continue. I mean, once the world knows what it is and that it's not a joke and they don't run from it, that's the only way that we can get rid of it. If we can, I don't know. I think we need some divine intervention as well, but I welcome to our world now, Ken. I just wanted you to know our why, because our why is the children.
Hey, Ken, to give you just a little bit of perspective of how systemic this really is, Google, one of the largest companies in the world, we're all dependent on it. Everybody on the planet knows what Google is. Their search engine is called Chrome, and the engine that runs it is called Adreno. It's in your face. It's absolutely in your face. And for some historical perspective, look at the works of Aleister Crowley. This is a man that was allegedly involved in intelligence for the British and perhaps other agencies as well. Extraordinarily influential man to this day. Founded a religion called Thelema. You can look into that. A lot of people like to call this Satanism, but it really gets into some ancient Egyptian stuff and so on and so forth. And the hardest part for me to believe was this idea of pedophilia being rampant. The very idea of sexualizing a child is so repulsive to me and to most people that I know that I couldn't conceive of this being something so widespread. But it really is more about the power that they get from the sacrifice. And this is all Babylonian stuff. It's very ancient and it's very widely practiced. And there's a lot out there for you. But if you start with Crowley, you'll probably get a solid foundation for that.